years ago and how long it took me to get like, you know, get my mind right and see who a nigga is. Now it happens within minutes. You're done in minutes. Like my friends, they dragged me to the club the other night. I said, you know what? I'm gonna stop being isolated. I went out to the club. I was there for 30 minutes and I was looking at these motherfuckers like, we really in here jamming to murder music. Like, and these are the men. These are the men. This is what we have. And I'm just looking at these niggas like, we in here trying to catch a good vibe off murder music. You seen that nigga who did a video about that shit about murder music? And I was like,
murder music
yeah,
was the tribe's call to war. But the problem is the dumb motherfuckers don't know who the enemy is because they can't see him. So they assume the enemy is the motherfucker next to him, and he ain't the enemy the whole time. The ops is down there laughing at your ass. That's what the purpose of it was. To see the music is to talk to a generation of people, tell them what's going on. The young guys know we at war, but they don't know where the war is, so they don't know how to fight. Right. And then when the system realized what's going on, they didn't cut the youth off from the elders by telling them that we don't know what the fuck we talking about. We old and crazy. So now the youth don't want to listen to no old crazy motherfucker. So then go to incognito. What that song say? Old man sitting in the shade because he no longer want to play in this charade, right? And all the young guys was walking past the old dude with the keys to the kingdom, but they won't talk to him because he old, which is the very reason they should be trying to talk to him, because he old. He might have went through life and suffered so he can get one of them the keys to the kingdom, but they too motherfucking brainwashed to go and ask him, how you doing today, sir? What's the science for today? Let the old man spiel. When I was a little boy, I used to talk to all of the ones they called bums and paupers. That's just what I did. I want to know how you end up living in the shopping cart, pushing your life around in the shopping cart.
Nigga, I love them.
Some of them stories is they wake up to the fraud, the whole charade, and quit. I ain't playing that bullshit. I did a video called Poer Gods, right? Because a lot of people don't know that them people choose to be, rather than participate, they'll take the suffering, but that frees thousands of others of us from the suffering. They strong enough to take it, so they put themselves in the position to receive it. And then the rest of us get the benefit of somebody being the release valve of the pressure and the buildup. So now we don't have to implode. That gives us a chance to figure out a solution to this conundrum. It's all about the balancing of the energy.
Yeah, I was reading something about that, about like the homeless people out there, like that are like schizophrenic, and how they're in another dimension, and like they are what's that shit called?
Hey, look, go on TikTok and put in homeless man explains New World Order. You listening to this old?
You talking about the guy that was like fascism is, capitalism is how did he say that shit? I think I know you're talking about. White
and
guy.
He had that they had that paint on his face. Yeah. Or soot. It looked like soot from sitting around a fire all the time.
He was explaining how
he was telling them about the Bush family, the New World Order, and all that shit. Yeah. But you gotta remember, the reason why they selected Charles Manson is because he knew all that shit. Charles Manson was the first ones that warned us about them poisoning the water with fluoride.
His interviews are
Charles
brilliant.
Manson was the first ones to tell us that they was trying to orchestrate a race war, and that they tried to hire him to create a race war against the blacks, and he refused to do it. He flat out said it. This is why they locked him up, because when he was in San Quentin, him and Joseph Sinque was trained by the guy who turned out to be Jim Jones from Guyana, best friend in mind control. Both of them went rogue. They was the 2-star pupils in the mind control class and handpicked to start the race war. The dirty Moors know if we don't wake up, we gonna slaughter everything that look pale. But we have to, right. So when Charles Manson exposed it, it became part of the wake up call. And so they trained Charles Manson and told him to get an army of white kids. And they told Joseph Sinque to get an army of black kids. And they were supposed to wage the war against each other in California. And it was supposed to spread from there around the world. But they both went rogue. Charles Manson began to tell the family that he was building that the government was plotting all this dirt, and they was poisoning the water with fluoride to make the people more docile, and they wanted to start a race war. And this is what the whole helter skelter phenomenon was about. So when he started telling the kids and he refused to send them into the war, they said we had to get rid of him now. So they had to clean their mess up. So they sent Tex in there. Tex told him Charles wanted these people dead. Charlie ain't told nobody he killed nothing. But the only motherfucker that don't get no time turned out to be an FBI agent, the one that told him to do the killing. Right? Now, Joseph Sinque, on the other hand, started off Calvin DeFries. He started off kidnapping rich white kids because he said he wasn't finna send none of his people to do none of the dirt when he can use they people because they've been using our people. So instead of getting a group of black kids together to start a race war against Charles Manson and the family, he started kidnapping white kids, creating the Symbionese Liberation Army. This is how Patty Hearst got caught up. And then they educated her on the struggle, changed her name to Tanya. Right? So her picture is her standing under the 7-headed cobra as Tanya. And so she got pardoned, I think, by Jimmy Carter for being a Manchurian candidate for Joseph Sinque. Right? So they let her out of prison and she went on to live her life, but she already did what we needed her to do. She stood in that motherfucking bank with that motherfucking chopper. She was good after that. She ain't had to do nothing else. That's all we needed her to do. Stand in the bank with the chopper so they can see who the real enemy is.
Yeah, I watched a few of Charles Manson's interviews. That nigga knew a lot. I mean, he knew a lot, and that goes to show you how programmed we are when like you grow up thinking something a way about a person. And granted, not to get in, you don't never got to get into any details, but it's always about the message or the knowledge or the information that you're getting. Fuck who you getting it from and all the politics that come with it and all that other bullshit. The emotional aspect of it. It's the knowledge. And a lot of shit that nigga was saying was so crazy. He was just like, I'm an avatar. I'm not even really here. Like I'm playing a game here. This is fun. I jump in and out my body. I was like, oh, that
motherfucker told Geraldo Rivera. Geraldo say, don't you want to be free? Don't you want to be out there in the free world like free people? Charles Manson said, free? Out there? He leaned in to Geraldo. He said, I'm already out there on everybody's mind.
I mean, his interviews is classic. Like,
Hey, he told him,
damn.
he said, you think this is Charlie? This ain't Charlie. He said they wanted to see an animal, so I'm act like an animal.
Man, and it should be so funny. Like, people always, especially these fake woke motherfuckers, they always be like, oh, you watch TV, you watch movies. This is when you understand what you're in right now. That's what it's about. Being yourself, being in this avatar, and being able to create the reality that you understand and that you want to be in. It has nothing to do with all the extra bullshit, all the emotional bullshit. It's almost like a childlike state of mind, like to just be as free in thought and in vibe and in frequency as certain people can be, even if they're deemed as heinous people or whatever. These people are sorcerers. They're time travelers, they're sorcerers, they are people that can tap into shit where they don't even, this is all a fucking game to them. That's what niggas need to be on before this shit start to really get crazy, because I seen this shit with my own eyes. People's hearts was fucking exploding. They was not able to process the information. They was not vibrating on the same frequency as the earth. The earth was shifting and the niggas wasn't, and I will never, it was almost like traumatizing to me to see the shit. Like people's hearts was exploding, especially people's that was, getting
I'm
that,
not even
you
I'm not even looking
know,
into it until after the flip. 'Cause I got so much on my plate now that's gonna take me down a wormhole of healing that is going to have me deeply absorbed. I'm not gonna be no good to nobody until I figure out the
you don't
problem.
think so?
Problem solving. I'm all up in the motherfucking 19th dimension. They see my body walking around down here.
Nah, no bullshit. No bullshit. I was I was astro projecting and I was hopping around this motherfucker, like just hopping around, just lollygagging, and I seen something in mundane terms with a demon or whatever. And at first I was kind of terrified, and then we ended up hugging. And it was spirit be funny, because I'm always on joke time, but spirit be funny. So like I was astro projecting and I had ran into an entity that would look terrifying or whatever, like some necronomicon shit, and like some HP Lovecraft shit. And I stopped studying the HP. I stopped studying the necronomicon because it was like mad intense, and it was like, all right, oh shit, now I'm starting to, let me step back. So when I dreamed about it, it was so funny how I was astral projecting. And I seen this beast, and then at the end of the whole shit, I'm like, make a left, make a right. I'm giving this nigga directions, like hugging this nigga, like
It was a
it's
message
the fear,
in
man.
there about
It's the fear.
judging the book by its cover and allowing fear to block you from where love can guide you.
Well, it was was training myself to not, be fearful. So what I was doing was, like, if I would get real scared in a moment, I was really like reprogramming my mind that, none of it is real. And I was just trying to do that. So what I realized, I was only astral projecting during the day. And then when I got deeper into astral projection and sleep paralysis, and how sleep paralysis is just your body coming in and out of astral projection. Most people was having astral projection at nighttime, and then they were scared to astral project because they were seeing entities at night. And I said, well, why the fuck am I not astral projecting at night? Which I'm probably technically am, but consciously, why am I not doing it at night? So that was the first time I had went out at night to astral project, and I had seen it, but I was only scared for like it was like a whoa moment. I was only scared for like a second, and then I was like, so all that training myself in the 3D to not be scared, like can't shit scare me. Like, I'm a serial killer's worst nightmare. I'm not gonna run. Hey, you're gonna kill, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could, what you gonna do? The worst thing you do is gonna kill me, and I'm not gonna have to pay rent no more. Like, I put programs in my mind that even if they don't make sense or correlate with my current state of, you know, reality, it's still a form of programming that people don't understand, that a lot of the shit that they be scared of in the moment of being scared, that nothing's ever happened to them. Like, being scared of the dark or an entity your whole life is ridiculous, because ain't shit never happened to you. You just been scared the whole time. But nobody ever thinks, but ain't shit ever happened. Like, you get into sleep paralysis and you start hallucinating out of fear. You're seeing entities and all that. Like, yeah, that's scary, but you still, shit ain't never happened. You just keep going through another cycle of fear, and I don't know. I'll be talking about this shit
Well,
all
you,
day, man. That
so
shit's crazy.
that's why I say a
But
coward
that,
dies 1,000 deaths, a soldier dies but once. See, the difference between a coward and a hero is some shit called courage, the ability to feel the fear and face it and conquer it. Go into battle regardless. I feel the fear of the unknown, but that ain't gonna stop me from chopping this motherfucker head off. We on the battlefield.